what are the sacrificing sand soldiers? It's fine as long as it's to get you in Azir.
The Shuriman government doesn't spend nearly enough mana each year on sand soldiers. We need to be. Okay, that's
True.
That works too well. And on that note. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Runeterrable Radio. I am Blevins. With me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, friend? How's it going on this fine day?
Oh, it's the most wonderful time of the year with the new set coming out, and also we say it's the most wonderful time of the year for us because we get to experience the new set. But our guest gets to experience the new set atop the throne of the Seasonal Championship. We are joined by the newly minted champ of the Cosmic Creation Seasonal, MajiinBae. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing?
It's
I feel like I wasn't prepared for the intro.
Yes, we got another one, Saucy.
I heard it on one of your episodes, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta remember that," and then I immediately forgot.
Well,
I like it.
The other thing is that I will give you absolutely zero prompt that it's coming. That's like the one rule. Okay. This actually leads into our next segment. The podcast bingo. This should be a bingo square. If anyone's making a second bingo square, we completely bamboozle the guest with the intro.
Yeah, it's kind of the best part. It's like my favorite part of the podcast. So,
but if you didn't see Crabcore on Twitter, who is known for their prowess in expeditions. I know they took a bit of a break, but they came back and were listening to some episodes of the podcast, binging, if you will, and they made a hilarious bingo sheet of all the dumb things that Saucy and I do on a consistent basis.
Yep. Oh, God, I saw that. I woke up, looked at my phone, and I'm like, why the f do I have so many messages from our Twitter account on the podcast? And it was from Crabcore's Bingo, and I read it, and I was in tears. I texted Blevins, and I'm like, did you see this bingo? He's like, dude, I'm also crying. It's
amazing. It's very funny. You should definitely check that out if you haven't already. And
but speaking of checking out, we have a sweet new guest today with us. That was the segue. That was the segue square.
That was
fantastic. Well done.
We do on a somewhat maybe more serious note. We are going to be talking about the new cards, at least glancing over them, getting first impressions. I know you two have been streaming most of the day since the release, so you've gotten a little bit of experience there. I definitely have been working diligently all day at work and not playing during meetings, so I haven't played a lot. Wink. I'm winking for those of you in podcast land. I did play a good number of games, but before we get to that, I want to talk with you, Majiin, and get to know you a little bit more. Obviously, a lot of people saw you over the weekend playing expertly during the seasonal, but I want to get to know you a little bit more. So why don't we start off with your competitive background? What's your competitive landscape look like? Where do you come from?
I played Magic the Gathering for the last probably 6 years. Made it to the Pro Tour, played in the Mythic Invitational, and then kind of got fed up with Magic and how a lot of things were going.
Wait, really?
I know,
Magic?
I know. Things going wrong for Magic? No.
Wow.
And then Runeterrable just kind of come out, so I tried it, and I was like, this is kind of fun. But I wanted to wait until they had a competitive scene to really get into it. And then they said, hey guys, we're gonna have seasonals now. And I went, all right, word. Let's start playing Runeterrable. So now this is the only card game I play.
That's awesome. Now,
nice.
I know just from the research I did from the first seasonal, yes, you obviously also made the top 32 of that event. What was your sort of prep and whatnot leading into the not Cosmic Creation, the Monuments of Power seasonal?
I just played ladder. I didn't know what else to do. And I was so new to the format, like I didn't even know how it worked really. It was like bring 3 decks, ban 1, and I played like a gauntlet or 2, right? But that was about it. And so I was kind of lost. I just played decks I thought were good that I had and knew how to play. And I don't want to say got lucky, but I was not as good of a player as I am now, that's for sure.
Don't sell yourself short. You played really, really damn well. You played really damn well.
Thank you.
I'm just curious because this is kind of a topic that a lot of we were talking about when we were doing our episode before the seasonal. People's players like thought processes going into like deck lists. How much effort and thought did you put into your deck list? Did you just play, say I'm going to play decks that I think are good? Did you try to encounter what you thought the field was going to be? Kind of what were you thinking about that?
For the first seasonal, or the
for this most recent one?
The most recent one. More thought than you think. It keeps you up at night. Like the open is kind of whatever. You just bring things that are good, and you have like a plan, but it's you're gonna see a lot of random things. So there's only so much planning you can do. But top 32 is a known field, and you know what they brought into the open. And a lot of times you know a lot of the players, so you can make your guesses. So yeah, I had a definite idea of what I wanted to do for each of my lists, and like how I wanted them to work out.
Now, obviously, having played at the the highest level of Magic, Pro Tour, Mythic Invitational, whatever they're called now, level, how did that compare? How did your testing for this Runeterra or your preparation for this seasonal compare to like what you would normally do for like a Pro Tour or a Grand Prix?
It was pretty similar to what I would do for like my Pro Tour preparation. I'd meet with like my team and we talk about what we thought was good, and then we practice for specific situations. You know what I mean? Like instead of just jamming games with decks, you'd go, okay, I want to play this matchup, and I want to see if this, like, I want to find out about this exact thing, right? Like I want to see if taking a more aggressive approach is better, and then you try to like set up that one thing and you try to learn that, and then you move on to something. The only difference with the Pro Tour is that I did it in person. Now it's online, right? But pretty similar. Yeah, find a group of people you trust that you think are very good players, and you test, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going into the top 32 this time around, you mentioned the first time you maybe got a little lucky, weren't necessarily as confident with your play for that one. But for this one, obviously you were much more established in the space. You've, hit rank 1 on ladder at least a couple of times, at least one time, I know for sure, maybe a couple of times, I'm not 100%. How did you feel about your odds, like once you already qualified for the top 32 of this one? How did you feel going into it? I mean, were you... I saw that you tweeted out that you were going to win, but did you actually feel that you had, the real chance to win? Yeah. Did you?
Yeah. So my thought was, I tend to not be super optimistic about these things, but I felt very comfortable going to the top 32. I was confident in my list, and I was confident in my ability. There were a couple names that I was worried about. I was worried about like Raptor, Kever, Ian O'Guera, and like a couple others. I was like, these players are really, really, really strong players. I know I can hang with them, but yeah, like they give me a bit of worry. So my hope was, I just want to get to top 8. If I can get to top 8, I'll be like super proud. That'll look really good, and all that. And then when I played Raptor actually in top 8, so I made it to top 8, and then he was my quarterfinals. I was like, oh no, here we go. This is what I was worried about.
Yeah.
And then we won that match. And after I won my quarters match, I was like, oh, I can win this. It's like I can actually take first. That's the first time I let myself like really think about winning.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, for those in the podcast world and maybe listening on Twitch that don't know who Raptor is, maybe better known as Josh Utter-Layton, the MTG Hall of Famer. Pro Tour Hall of Famer.
Also rank 1 Runeterra player.
Yeah. If you don't know him from Magic, you may know him from just looking at the leaderboard in your game client. I know it's Repterra on Runeterra. Yeah, so absolutely one of the. I mean, if you beat him at a Grand Prix, he might hand you a I beat a MT or I played against an MTG Hall of Famer pin.
Yeah, I think they do give you one of those. That is the thing they give
I
you. Now.
I know. Shuhei always carried him around. I don't know if everyone
Nakamura?
did. Yeah,
Nakamura's that? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Shuhei Nakamura because my buddy has one because he played against
That's
Shuhei
so
Nakamura.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I would pin that to like my backpack for sure.
Yeah,
Easily. Like, I played against an MTG Hall of Famer and survived. That's
I don't know. I think that, I mean, this is, oh God, over 10 years ago at this point. So I don't know. I mean, obviously there's no IRL events, but I don't know if that was something that Wizards did or if that was something he did or like that Channel Fireball made, because obviously Channel Fireball has a ton of Hall of Famers just like on staff. So
just hanging around.
Yeah. Or at least they did back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, we're talking about this event, this tournament that you just easily swept, didn't even to put no thought, no effort, easily did. It's over behind you. So, do you got any special plans for the cashola, the big monies,
the big bucks?
Yes, I do. So, those who are in my stream know that my stream crashes a lot because this computer that you see next to me was like a $700 pre-built computer from like 3 years ago. It doesn't quite hold up. It's practically a toaster. Nice. I can't have Chrome open and games and stream at the same time.
Well,
so I'm spending like a good chunk, just upgrading my rig, because like now I consider myself like a streamer. And just having your stream crash when you're trying to like build a community is not ideal. I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and then the rest is going to go towards me finishing up my private pilot's license and then moving on to my commercial licensing.
Nice. Yeah,
that's awesome.
One of my best friends in channel mod, his name's Bramer. He's a pilot of many years.
That's awesome.
I think anyone who was watching the seasonal and saw the player interviews wants you to adopt Glop, a dog. So just
oh.
No, that was we did the.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we did. Like, what would you do? And he's like, I'd get a dog.
Yeah, I could finally adopt a dog. Like Glop, like he went like full. He went full. Super like sentimental, which was nice.
Oh yeah.
Who's
those
the
hearts
asshole that knocked him out and prevented him from getting a dog?
Oh, I actually little behind the scene, little inside baseball here from the seasonal. So as many folks know, I work for Wisdom, who is the parent company of Giant Slayer and who is also the broadcast partner for NA for the LOR seasonal. So I was while Majiin was out there crushing, I was behind the scenes. But I actually got the chance to watch some of the matches that weren't on the mainstream or on the co-stream that the secondary stream that we put out. So I did watch Glop unfortunately lose. He had I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking like, "Ooh, he's got this," and then, "Oh no, that can't. Oh no, no, not that top to. Oh boy." Like in that exact order. So
that explains all of the Majiin, all of your new emotes are just dogs with like X's through it. Just hates dogs.
Yeah, it was Majiin. It was
Majiin hates dogs. Hashtag get it trending on Twitter.
Oof. Is it oof or should I say woof? No, okay, that was a bad joke.
It's both. I'd say in this specific case, it's got to be woof though.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be.
Is Blevins making a really stupid joke at one of the squares? It should be. If
it's guaranteed. Well, okay,
that's just the middle square.
We're gonna,
that's the free space.
Moving forward, we have the past, we have the present. Now that you're spending all this money, let's talk about the future, though. What kind of things do you want to see going forward, competitively, either with the seasonal, other events, different tournaments, just in general? What do you want to see in Runeterra competitively moving forward?
I definitely want to see more of it. Like the competitive scene that we had up until seasonals was like completely grassroots, right? Which is cool. like that's great. But if we want Runeterra to grow as like an esport, we need more than that. And seasonal is a great first step, and they called it the path to pro. And you know, having a path to pro is fantastic, but you have to have the pro part, like
right?
The path has to lead somewhere, you know.
Wait, this door's just painted on.
Yeah, like I won seasonals, and I'm like, now what? Like,
yeah,
you know,
a door that opens to another door.
Yeah, I can play in the next one, I guess. Maybe if I qualify again.
right.
And they said, you know, hey, Worlds is coming. We're just not making the announcement yet. And that's honestly, that's really what I wanted to hear. I talked about it on stream a bunch. I was like, if they could just tell me that there's gonna be a Worlds, I'll be happy. Like, and so I want to see that, obviously. And I think having something like a World, something that people can look and be like, oh, these are the guys that made it. These are the best players in the world. And maybe there's like a good amount of like cash prize or whatever, and you can actually have like pro Runeterra players that brings people from other card games, like Artifact, for example. Tons of people tried out Artifact because they had this big tournament that was coming up, and everyone gave it a shot.
Yeah.
And I think Runeterra is such a great game that if people give it a shot, they'll stay. They'll be like me. I gave it a shot, and I was like, damn, this game rocks. All right, I'm not playing any others. Bye. I'm just gonna play Runeterra.
Yeah, there. I mean, so many people have like given it a shot like that. Like it just takes one. It just takes one, right? Because the game is so good.
Yep.
And like it's like, how do you get people in? How do you get that system going? How do you get that ecosystem going? Which is awesome. I think that's amazing. And I also think another part of that actually has nothing to do with the competitive scene is just like the side game, like the Lab of Legends, the 2v2 lab, all that stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
So good at getting people like in the ancillary of that. And like you get people in, oh, this Lab of Legends thing looks cool. I don't need to spend any money on it. I can just play it. Oh, these cards are cool. What is that? And then maybe you can convert that person into you know, an esports
maybe they
viewer.
try ranked because they really like playing Braum or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super good.
I think that's super big though, what you said. It's about even just knowing that Worlds is a thing, just knowing that it is, not even that it's there, but knowing that it is a thing could be enough to get, you know, different players into the game. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like when people are like, hey, why don't you think X player from X game tries out Runeterra? I'm like, well, what's their incentive? Like a pro high level competing, you know, Magic or Hearthstone or whatever player needs that. Like they need that high level competition to want to keep playing the game. And if that doesn't exist, you're not going to get those specific players.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the pro players and even content creators, like it is on, you know, varying levels for different people, but it is their job, right? And like you don't quit your job and go to another job for nothing usually,
because it sounds fun.
because it sounds fun. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I have a lot of friends, obviously, because coming from Hearthstone, like that's where I came before, and you know, I was able to stop playing that for different reasons. But like a lot of my friends are like, you know, this is my job streaming this game. I'm afraid to just let me abandon my whole community to try out this other game. Like it's a scary thing. Yeah, like you can't just ask that. Like, yeah, the game sounds fun, but what's my incentive?
100%. Well, that was great. And I hope the podcast listeners at home and the folks in the various streams have gotten to know Majiin a little bit better, which is awesome. But enough about you, man. Let's talk about some new cards.
Yeah.
We are not going to do a whole like rundown thing. We talked about all the cards that had been released up until literally a week from today. So instead of going through everything new, because let's be honest, if you're the type of person who's listening to a Legends of Runeterra podcast, you've seen the fucking cards already. We're not spoiling the cards for you. You've seen them. Go to Mobalytics or Out of Cards or Runeterra CCG, or go to every single one of them. Or go in the fucking game and play the cards, okay? They're out.
Yeah.
Nax is out.
Spicy decks. Seen some pretty spicy decks today.
Yeah. What's the spiciest thing you've seen so far?
The spiciest thing? That's so I saw a really cool Azir Jarvan deck that I haven't
Okay.
played yet, but it was really cool. It was using all of the rally effects possible because you're in Demacia to get just a bunch of Azirs, and it was really cool. Like I thought that was very creative. I actually just seeing so many different Azir decks was surprising to me, like how creative people have been with it. I've been playing a lot of Lucian Azir and a lot of Hecarim Azir.
Ooh.
But Lucian Azir is disgusting because your sand soldiers
Oh
die. Lucian
yeah.
rallies.
Oh shoot.
It makes blocking difficult. You got to play Quicksand, which is a good card, and you got to
Wait.
play the best card in the game. One mana decimate.
Yeah, you just wait.
You good? Yeah.
Wait,
It's really
it
good.
levels up
Really, really
Lucian
good.
and it gives you the Wait a
Yeah.
second. How come no one talked about this beforehand? How come I'm
Yeah.
just hearing this now?
It's hot, dude. It's real hot.
Oh yeah, and you get to curve Lucian into Azir.
Yeah.
Why is no one talking about this? I've just been seeing
It's
all
good.
this trash on Twitter. People playing garbage decks. Why didn't anyone just say Lucian Azir? I could have been good today.
It's good. It's real good.
What about you, Majiin? Anything spicy that you've either played or seen on the ladder today?
I've been playing the concurrent timelines Karina control, where you
Ooh.
play Ledros and flip it into Dreadway with it on the stack.
Mm-hmm.
The OTK, that's been fun. Yeah, there's like a Mo posted emotional. He posted like a
Friend of
list
the
on
show.
Twitter where he's like killing people on turn 5 through like Avalanche and Vile Feast and everything. It's like the lowest to the ground deck I've seen. It's an Azir deck. It's like Azir Shadow Isles, I think.
Yeah,
It's
Azir Elise.
Yes,
I think is.
yeah.
I saw the original list he posted. I don't know if he's changed it at all. I was playing a bit of that. Yeah, it's pretty. That deck. It's the type of deck that I feel happens at the beginning of every season, right? It's like, what's the just most aggressive thing I can do, and like, it's running a couple of cards that I think are maybe a little sus. It's not running. It's running. I think. Is it running any spells? I don't think it's running any spells actually, except for obviously hero champion spells. I think there's actual 0 spells, which I think is wrong.
I think it might have the Ruinous Path card.
The one that drains and draws a card.
Yeah.
I mean, an updated version might, and for what it's worth, I copied his list from that he brewed, I think, last night before the cards came out. So
is running Stalking Shadows?
Yeah, I think it's Stalking Shadows.
The list I had, it wasn't, but I think it definitely should.
Either way, it kills people on like turn 4.
Yeah,
I hate.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's pretty cool. The card, I'm looking at the list right now, chat, of every card. It is called Emperor's Dais, or Dice.
Oh, yeah.
The landmark one?
Yeah, the landmark. 2-mana landmark. When allies attack, summon an attacking sand soldier. That one's pretty sick, just in general. I think that card is muy caliente. I like it a lot.
It's like a second Azir trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important part of Azir, right? Like, it's the best. I don't really give a shit about the 1/5 body, and even his like leveled up ability. It's good.
Big when he's leveled.
But I don't really care.
There's two ones essentially.
Yeah.
Is
right.
What that reads.
Yeah.
I've died to it a few times.
Oh, I've definitely died to it because I'll be like attacking with a fearsome unit or like a bunch of fearsome units, and then he'll use the Azir's champ spell to burst speed make units, and then also burst speed pump Azir. I'm like, oh god, I just get blown out because I was not factoring that in. So the Karina deck, I played a little bit of that as well. The concurrent timelines plus concurrent timelines plus Ledros, or really concurrent timelines plus any 9-drop, but it's basically Ledros and Karina. The way it works is, if you haven't played it already, concurrent timelines is the one where for the rest of the game, the first unit you play every round will transform into you choose one of 3 units to transform it into that costs the same. So Ledros and Karina both cost 9. Another card that costs 9 is the Dreadway, which doubles damage. So if you play Ledros and hit Dreadway, they're dead, regardless of their life total. And then, Karina turning into a Dreadway also works because the spell, the play ability still goes on the stack, and then it transforms into a Dreadway, which has a passive ability. So, how's that one been working out for you, Majiin? Because I've had, I had minor, I did all right with it, but I wasn't like blown away by it.
It's actually been really good for me. It's probably the winningest deck that I've made so far.
Okay.
We lost a couple times to like the Lucian Azir just killing us on turn 5 with like 2 rallies.
Yeah.
But we've beaten pretty much everything else. I hit Dreadway off Ledros like an absurd amount of. It feels harder to miss than it is to hit.
Yeah.
I think
because I don't think you can hit itself. I haven't seen like Ledros off Ledros.
Ruben said that you could, but I haven't seen it either.
He said you could, but I think he's lying.
I've never seen
not
it.
there. So I think it's like 60% or something ridiculous.
It definitely feels like the first 2 times I played it, I definitely hit. And then it was funny because I played against I played the mirror match against someone and they didn't hit. And then I played immediately next turn. I played mine and hit, and I was like, I guess better lucky than good.
Better lucky than good. The Kindred in the deck is really nice.
Yeah. How has Kindred been for you?
Fantastic. I like the Kindred into like Mystic Shot or like Kindred into Vile Feast on 5, and you're just like, well, now what are you gonna do?
Right.
Like, your board's gone. I have blockers.
Yep.
Kindred just generates so much value.
Mm-hmm.
A 4/4 is hard to remove, especially on turn 5.
Yeah, I think Kindred is the type of card that is it is massively, insanely good right now. And I think it will massively and insanely punish people who don't understand how to play around it well.
Yes.
But I do think that eventually folks will get more used to playing around because you can't play, you now need to not play like a 2/2 with your big like 5/5 out. You have to have 3 units.
Please do not play a 2/1. It's not gonna go well for you.
I've basically every Kindred game I've played, they've blocked like a block that makes sense, but not taking into effect that Kindred's gonna. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that block doesn't work, and I'm like, guess you'll lose. Goodbye, Lysandra. Stuff like that. It's been crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of Lysandra, Saucy, I know that she has been a favorite of yours from even before the set coming out. I know you played a little bit of it today. What has your experience with her been like?
Well, I obviously made her prismatic before I even crafted all the cards, so that happened. No, so she has been, not specifically just her, but all the new Freljord cards have been really good. Three Sisters and Blighted Ravine have been way overperforming. It's kind of the same thing. I think it's right now I'm farming people that don't know how the new cards work, specifically the Ravine, and they're doing stuff like putting a barrier on their stuff to save it from that killing them when it goes off at the start of the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 4 Fiora players because of that. Like they put like Rangers Resolve their Fiora. I'm like, sounds good. Wait till it happens at the start of the turn, and then it's just like, it's been so good.
Yeah.
And Three Sisters is insane. That card I
haven't played that yet, so I should throw some of those in there. I think I had like one.
It's like the best. It's the best Freljord card of the set, and maybe it's probably one of the best like top 5 cards of the set. It's so strong.
Wow.
It's real good. I mean, it's good at any point of the game, right?
Very
like
flexible. Yeah.
It's modal flexibility. You can either freeze on defense. I've pushed damage, especially with your big overwhelm guys like Fury of the North on those. It's just extra damage. People don't ever play around that. So I've gotten so many lethals from that. And just whatever Entomb or whatever is really strong too. Like, it's just a good card.
Yeah.
Try it. I've only been running like one. I don't even think I've seen it in my games.
Yeah, I've won a lot against the Karina Dreadway stuff because they flip it. Yep, you just nuke their dude in response. And like, there's been a lot of atrocities I've seen, and you just freeze them. Like, oops. There you go.
City guy. That's
Yeah.
I love that
Trust
card.
is good. It's real good.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty. We're living in the time that happened when Bilgewater first came out, where everyone first thing they did was keyword search deep, keyword search toss. Okay, I've got one spot left. Now let's put in a third copy of this. Okay, 0 removal, 0 early game.
I have monsters.
Yeah,
it's true though. Like I think that's one of the big reasons the concurrent timelines Ledros Dreadway deck is so strong right now. Is no one's playing removal.
Yeah.
Like you flip the combo and they have nothing because like, oh shit, I'm not playing any interaction. I guess I lose.
And plus, if they like Vengeance or Dreadway or whatever, which they have to do the second you do it, they're still getting Ledros.
Yeah, they're still getting nuked from 10 plus damage easy.
And I play Burn, I get excited to Mystic Shots and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it was better than I expected. It will either get better because we know what removal to play, or it will get worse depending on where the meta goes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how Karina control in general has been. It's like sometimes it's a really good niche spot, but it's not really been. It really needs to feed on a specific type of deck. It is not it's not like Twisted Fate, who just kind of needs you to draw cards.
Or Aphelios that needs you to play the card.
Yeah, that needs you to play the card Aphelios.
Aphelios.
Throw the
rocket launcher.
Yes, I've got a new bit. It's the Elune telling Aphelios to use modern weapons bit. It's so funny. At least I think
it's
so.
good.
It's so dumb.
What other spicy stuff you guys been playing? Anything else super spicy?
Talia stuff, but it's not good so far.
Yeah, Talia is a disappointment, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah, she's fun. She is definitely tier fun.
Yeah.
To be fair, we have 2 more sets of Shurima stuff coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and all she needs is like one really good landmark to copy.
Yeah. True.
Well, the problem is for me is that her ability just gets countered if she's removed from combat at all. Like if you have to Ancient Hourglass her, if she gets killed, if she gets bounced, if you bounce her, if she gets stunned, the abilities that are on the stack just do nothing. So like it just makes it even more like usually, something like like that you're building around, and that is you're doing there's a lot of deck building restrictions needed to make her function. When you jump through those hoops, usually the payoff is you've got at least some sort of like inevitability or like ability to go through it. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I'm not sold. I mean, definitely she's in that unique spot where like every single time a new landmark comes out, it's like, ooh, how does this work with Talia? Can we break this with Talia? Ooh, I don't know. So that would be she's interesting, but I don't know. Not feeling it with her.
I'll play with my Lysandra and Kindred instead.
Yeah. Yeah, Kindred's all right. Renekton too. He's pretty
good. Very strong.
Nuts.
I the first deck I built was Noxus Shurima with LeBlanc. I did a 2-2-2 split because I just wanted to test the cards. LeBlanc, Sivir, and Renekton. Like aggro, just like beat down, play all the stuff that gives vulnerable, play a bunch of 5-cost guys, Bakai Reaper, etc. And it felt pretty decent. It felt very clunky, as you might imagine. Very unrefined, but it definitely had some play there. I think LeBlanc in general is better than people think that she is, but is still not like fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I was like, she's good. Like, she's better than you think. She's not like great.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah,
Especially,
she's
I think Ash LeBlanc is like pretty solid.
Yeah. I think LeBlanc is a solid unit. She's not splashy. She's like very boring. She's like I was calling her like the Mayo of champs. Like she's not exciting, but I mean she's got good stats.
Yeah, she looks like she belonged in set 1.
Yeah.
Super though.
Darren and Darius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Which is weird because I feel like this set feels very like this feels like the first. I mean, Targon a little bit, but even more so, this set feels like the first Runeterra expansion of
they're like pushing the boundaries of the game.
Yeah, they're pushing the boundaries of the game. Yeah, there's
LeBlanc.
Yeah, and then there's LeBlanc. Well, and it's like I feel so like, and again, here's your bingo square, referencing old MTG stuff. This set, and we talked about this before, Saucy. It kind of feels like Time Spiral a little bit. Like there's literally Think Twice in this set.
Yeah,
with Preservarium. It's like
still one of my favorite cards in the game.
I like that card.
Preservarium.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cards. The Shurima cards, even a lot of the other non-Shurima cards, feel like they have like they're more complex, right? They don't feel like base set cards.
Yeah.
Except for LeBlanc, who kind of does.
Yeah, right.
And there's LeBlanc.
Like even the removal cards and stuff, all the Shurima, like vulnerable minus attack removal. There's a lot of interesting plays like with everything in the set, and even things like the siphoning strike. That card's actually been pretty good for me. I've been playing it a decent amount with Kindred decks, and it's been interesting. But just like things that on base level seem like would normally be a dog shit card are actually like not terrible. Like there's been some interesting ones.
Like, have you read the Hourglass card? That card's wild.
Yes.
It's like it's Zanya's like literally ported over to a card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool and interesting. And then there's a 5/2 with First Strike.
That's pretty cool.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't know.
And we got better Darius. We got Ruin Runner.
Okay.
That card's pretty good. It's not as good as I think everyone thinks.
Well, okay.
Exactly.
It leads me into another segment that I wanted to go over, which is hot takes.
Woo.
Hot takes about the new set. We did this with Bricky. Let's just do it now. Well, we've done it. We've actually done it a couple of times where we just like things that we think are maybe not the most popular opinion right now, but that we actually think are true, or like a popular opinion of the set that we think is wrong, or that we go against the grain on here. My first one is Ruin Runner is actually just a we were talking about which stream were you on last night, Majiin? That I was in the chat.
Squeeby's stream.
On Squeeby's stream,
losing their goddamn mind over Ruin Runner.
Everyone's losing their mind, and on Swim's original stream, like not Swim stream where it was the day it was first revealed, everyone was like, "This card's insane. This is the best card in the set. This is the best champion in the set. It's not even a champion. It's so good." I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not playing this deck outside of decks that have pump spells. And they're like, what?
Yeah, everyone's like, what do you mean a 5-mana 6-power unit isn't good?
Win seasonals. It was such a bad idea.
It's so it feels so like not even that great. Like a 5-mana 6/4 trample hexproof in Magic. That is a common card that your 25th playable.
Yeah.
Like,
it might make it into your draft set.
I'm running 18 lands over that in 90% of my decks.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how like portable like Magic's stat and cost are to Runeterra's stats and cost. They're like almost exactly the same.
Especially for units.
Yeah.
Spells get wonky.
Spells are different.
Spells definitely.
Remember when I saw Vengeance, I was like, what is this shit? I don't know if I can say that.
Doomblade costs 2.
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And now Vengeance is Vengeance is a card people should be playing still, but they aren't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should be playing.
No one's playing it.
Pretty good at the moment with all the atrocities and the lead dry and everything.
Yeah.
That's the plural form of Ledros, by the way. We decided on my chat that a lot of Ledroses together would be called an atrocity of lead dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is.
I like it.
That's fact. That's just a fact.
I like it a lot. Yeah. I just like.
No, I agree. I was playing a lot of Ruin Runners, and from basically all of the decks I played them in, like every deck too, I was like, okay, this is gonna be sick. We're gonna play Callista and Kindred, and we're gonna be Shurima with Ruin Runners, so the Callista's gonna bring back Ruin Runner. It's gonna be so good. And as I was like, this sucks bringing it back. I'd rather this be anything with a battle cry. This sucks.
Yeah.
Like no ETBs. This blows.
Yeah, chat, can I interest you in a 4/4 unit?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this thing called block?
I'd rather get the one drop, the 1 mana decimate. Like,
yeah.
The
card's way better.
That card's really good.
It's insane.
I was talking on Squeeby's stream last night. We're going over all the cards, and they're like losing their minds about all these units. And I'm like, if it doesn't do anything when it enters the battlefield, I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
It better do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does.
It does. Yeah, the one drop does. That's why it's so good.
Well, so I can kind of see the thought process of like, okay, Overwhelm is a strategy, which it is not in Magic, right? Trample.deck is not a deck.
Doesn't matter.
That I don't think it's ever been a deck. I mean, maybe a million years ago it was, but it's not generally a deck. So like the Overwhelm deck makes sense, right? Or it's good. And you know, you look and see, oh, well, this is like, you know, the Noxus Allegiance card, but it's bigger. It's a bigger one of those. It's like a mini Alpha Wild Claw. It's even cheaper. It's like, well, here's the thing. Yeah, Spell Shield. You can't kill it with a spell. It's like, well, you can just block it though. The thing is comparing it to the cheaper cards is like the difference in mana is huge. Going from 4 to 5 is a big jump. You don't really want that many 5-drops, if any, in that deck necessarily. And then comparing it to Alpha Wildclaw, it's like you're never able to trade with Alpha Wildclaw 1-for-1 with a unit.
6 toughness is a lot.
It's a lot of health. 4 is not. So I think it's actually fascinating to me that people think that card is insane because I think it's actually positioned like exactly in the middle of where you don't really need it to be.
I would take a 5/5 over a 6/4.
Yeah, health is huge.
Would it be insane? Still, no. For like a lot of the same reasons, but it'd be better, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jack the Winner I think would arguably be better than this card, and it sees some play, but not like it's not.
I don't even like that card, but I agree with you.
I mean, I like Jack the Winner in general. It just doesn't. It occasionally sees play. Sometimes it's not even that good.
It's always like the underwhelming card too.
Yeah,
it's always the first to get cut.
Yeah, gang plank.
Yeah, think about the 5-drops you're currently playing in your decks, chat, and then imagine if that was a common 6/4 Overwhelm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my hot take. Did either of you have any particular hot takes, things that you think are that no one else is seeing, or that you think are maybe a little controversial?
Yeah, I had a couple on the stream last night, but one of the ones that people really came after me about was the 4-mana Reputation draw 2. They were all about this card. This was a slam dunk 6 out of 5. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I love draw 2. At burst speed, this is my kind of card. However, in the decks that want to enable Reputation, they need to run as few spells as possible because you have to run the units, right? You need to curve out. You need to go 2, 3, 4, or you're not winning the game. You need to do like the Noxus 5/1 on 2,
right?
Something on 3, like LeBlanc, and then Ash. And I said it was a good card, but I was like, this is in the wrong region.
Yep.
And it has the wrong keyword attached. I think it's good, but I don't think it's incredibly good, and I may get like actually shot for that. We'll see.
No, yeah, and like you said, I think the big thing is like the decks that are playing like that it would go in. The spells are so specific you want to run. Like people were trying to compare it to like deep meditation, and it's like, well, let's talk about this because that's Ionia.
Yeah.
They want to draw more cards. Like it's a different thing. It doesn't work
spells,
that
right?
way.
Yeah.
But what are you going to take out? Troll Chant?
Right.
No, you're not.
Well,
No.
Right?
that's so. This is maybe this is another bingo square. Old school fundamental Magic lessons with weapons.
Oh my god.
There's a card in Magic called Gataxian Probe.
Not good.
And it is a 1-mana spell that says your opponent reveals their hand, draw a card. It costs 1 mana, but you can also, instead of paying 1 mana, you can instead pay 2 life and no mana to cast the card. So effectively, in air quotes, it's free because you're not paying any mana and you get to draw a card and look at their hand. Looking at their hand thing is not relevant for the purposes the point I'm making.
It's not why you play the card.
It's not why you play it. Well, yeah, exactly. When that card first came out in Standard, or even before it came out, everyone was talking about, oh, well, every single deck from here on out, from now until forever, is going to run 4 Gataxian Probes in their deck, no matter what, because it's just like running 56 cards instead of the normal 60, which is the limit in the minimum in Magic. And it's there's an opportunity cost. Something is getting cut from your deck to put these cards in. Yes, maybe for, in the case of, what's the actual name of the card? Whispered Words. Even if you can cast it for 2, I mean, actually, if you could cast it for 2 consistently, it's actually insane and definitely run it.
No, it's wild.
But at 4 mana, I mean, you need to cut cards. Like you said, you brought it up perfectly. What are you cutting? Troll Chant? No, please don't. Actually, please do, because if you're playing against me, I do want you to have this instead of Troll Chant.
It's I mean, it's the thing I always go into when people tell me play X, Y, and Z in a deck.
Yeah.
Yes, adding cards to a deck is far easier than deciding what to take out.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can play all of these cards in all of these decks, and yes, they would fit. But what do you take out in their place? Is this doing something better or more effectively to kind of fulfill your goal better than what you're already running?
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. Gataxian Probe was a busted card.
It was a very good card.
But you did not play it in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think draw 2 for 2 is busted in Runeterra, but it doesn't fit right now, I don't think. Like, Gataxian Probe was busted because the decks that wanted to run it did absolutely disgusting things with it.
Yes.
And we don't have that yet with.
Well, and Whispered, I mean, it's even going that far, like, Whispered Words is not the Gataxian Probe.
No.
It's just the point I'm making is like the card replaces itself. It's a good. It is in a vacuum a good card, right? I think everyone can agree that
in a vacuum. I think that's exactly what I said last night. I said in a vacuum, this is incredibly powerful.
4 mana, draw 2 at burst speed is a fine card. What are you cutting from your Noxus deck? Can you build a deck that this is good in? Maybe. I'm not seeing it right now, but possibly. So I do think that if the Twisted Fate Swain decks come back, it will run Whispered Words over Salvage because it's just better in that deck.
It's literally all
but it's the same exact card for all intents and purposes. It's the same exact card. So
that's my hot take.
I agree with you, but I would also agree that is a hot take. Saucy, do you have any?
I don't know if I have any super hot takes. I think I would say I think Nasus is better than people think.
Okay.
Everyone's been shitting on Nasus, but I think that there's something there. I don't think he's incredible, but I think he's not F tier. I think there is some sort of atrocity combo with Nasus, and I think we'll find a good deck for him. he's not unplayable. I'm going to say that because somebody like, oh my God, you're playing a Nasus. It's like, he's not the worst. And his effect is pretty strong. I think once he's leveled up, he's good. Leveling him up is tough.
Yeah.
I think he's all right.
I like his champ spell. Not as like a spell I put in my deck, but I like that if I have multiple Nasus, Nasi.
Naceases.
Really, there you go, Naceases. That I get like a really relevant card.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. 6 mana for a champ it's a tall order.
It's a lot. He's got to be fat.
He got to be thick before you want to really play him. I'm trying to think if I have any other hot takes.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to think of like hot takes.
I mean, we were talking about reputation and Noxus cards. I think Black Rose Spy, it's got to be busted, right? That card seems insanely good.
It seems really good. I haven't really seen it do anything yet, but it's gotta be good, right?
That's gotta be right.
So
every time I look at it, I'm like, this is nuts. But so far,
what if someone transformed me into an exec? Oh, hold on. It transforms her into an exec. I mean, it does a unique thing, right?
Yeah.
There is okay, actually there is a clone in this game, but it doesn't clone champions, right? It only cloned the
there's the ones that like transforms a follower into another follower.
Well, there's that one, but then there's
the PNZ card.
Yeah, that has like the Groucho Marx.
I think it's
glasses.
Just a follower.
Yeah, I think it's just it transforms into a follower. But Black Rose Spy, when I'm summoned, transform me into an exact copy of the strongest ally. Yeah, so like it can transform into champions.
If it didn't
cool.
have that little keyword on there that it has.
Then it would be really good. It would be insane. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think Reputation is just a dog shit mechanic.
Right? The one that gets cheaper.
Yeah. Reputation just sucks.
I think so. This is the thing.
Reputation blows. There's my take.
That is the coldest take. Everyone thinks that. My hot take is that it might be playable.
Oh! Whoa! Sound the alarms! Hold the damn door!
I mean, I played against someone who ran Renekton, and they like pumped it up, and they struck with it, and then they had reputation. It didn't matter because they had a giant Renekton, but they did have reputation technically. I don't know. I think
they did well because they had Renekton. That's
that
the moral of the story.
Speaking of cold takes, Renekton's good is one of them.
Renekton's very good.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I won't take credit for that one. I'll lean into whatever the other one I said was because I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Any I don't know. We'll see if you think of another hot take. We'll get to it before the end of the show. But speaking of the end of the show, we're gonna round out this episode with a couple of listener questions from Discord. Oh, fuck! I forgot to mention this, so I might as well mention it now. To give everyone, this is going to be mostly for people in chat. I would imagine maybe if you're listening to this episode on podcast realm, like immediately when it comes out, you might still be able to get on this. But if you go to the Runeterrable Discord, discord.me/Runeterrable Radio, we are giving away 10 Shurima battle passes. So you can go to the Discord. There's a giveaway channel, and there's a bot in there. You just click the reaction on the bot, and you'll automatically be entered. So, I completely fucking forgot to mention that at the beginning of the episode, but we're here now.
But there it is. Yeah,
there it is. There. It's only until if you're listening to this in real time tomorrow morning. So it was just a quick little flasherino in the pan, but we'll be doing more sort of stuff like that moving forward. So I wanted everyone to know. Again, that's discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. Okay. Moving into listener questions. We've got one from Medzi Groche. Every time I read a name that sounds foreign, I
perfect. Just
Well,
butcher it.
No, I'm not even worried about butchering it. I'm not even worried about butchering it. What was the one the other couple of weeks ago where their name was like Poopsicle or something in French?
It
I'm
was
like, oh boy.
it was fecal air conditioner.
Yes, I said that. I spent more time than I care to admit trying to pronounce that correctly, and then Saucy's like, you know what that means, right? I'm like, oh boy.
It's literally shit appliance.
Shit appliance. But from Métier Crochet. What cards have impressed you the most in the new set, and why? Is it Rockhopper and Rampaging Bakai? Well, I mean, we talked about the other cheap Shurima card. What's that one called? The Marshal or something?
Dune Man?
Oh yeah, Dune
Keeper or something like that.
Marshal thing. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm thinking Marshal. There's no Marshal. Dune.
The 1-drop 2/1 that makes the Sand Soldier. Nuts.
1 mana decimate.
Exactly as good as we thought it was going to be, which is insane.
Which is good.
What about Rampaging Bakai and Rockhopper? How have you two either played with or against those? Saucy, have you played with or against
Rockhopper is great. I think it is a strong card that doesn't just go as a 3-of in every deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is wrong, but the decks that want it, it's really good.
Majiin, what about
you?
Which
one's Rockhopper again?
3/1.
2 mana?
Yeah, 2 mana, 3/1. Create
that card's really good.
vulnerable.
I have not played against Rampaging Bakai yet, but the Rockhopper is insane with like Renekton.
Yeah.
So strong.
It's really, really good.
That one, the first time I played with I can't remember if I played against it or with it the first time, but the first time I experienced the card, I'm like, ooh, this creates interesting situations where people will very routinely play poorly into this.
Yeah.
Which I like. Mostly because
the longer the game goes on, the more people forget that the thing is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what counters it? The Dunes Keeper. Because it's the Sand Soldier vulnerable.
True, though. True.
So, still the best card.
It is.
Still contending. A 1 mana common, still the best card in the set. It's weird how that happens. Cosine Joe, aka Crocodile Cask, says, any ideas for Aphelios and the new set? Majiin, any new Aphelios brews, or is it business as usual with him?
I've tried, but every time I play something else with Aphelios, I go, why am I not playing Twisted Fate or Tom Kench? Right? You know, I'm losing the Boxtopus thing, which is really good. In case you guys didn't watch Seasonals, you can play him with like Talia. I wouldn't recommend it. You can play him with Kindred, which is pretty fun, but nothing so far is as good as like the Boxtopus variant or the standard Invoke one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough to beat that value.
I know, it's sad, but it's true.
It's just a good deck.
Mm-hmm.
Anything crazy in the vault for you, Saucy, with Aphelios?
Not for Aphelios. No, I agree. Like the Aphelios decks are all just really good. I mean, you can literally, if you like Aphelios, you can play him with anything. He's so flexible, it does not matter. But it's not gonna I don't think anything we've seen is better than the Twisted Fate deck. So might as well just play that. If you want to play Aphelios, that's just how I feel.
Yep, I tend to agree. Night Striker. So I'll say this one because I think it's been addressed, but how do you feel about animations taking players hostage? I think that they've fixed how fast the animations go. Saucy, I know in your video you did with the play test, it was like a solid minute of animations when like all 3 went off twice. So, but I'm pretty sure
like a minute and 20 seconds or something crazy.
Yeah,
that's Christ.
I think that they fixed it so that it doesn't do.
I think it took like 20 seconds. Maybe when it happened to me. Well, they only had like a 0 Renekton level 3. It was like 20 to 30 seconds probably.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's quicker. It is a little quicker.
It's a little bit quicker, but it is still a long time. But so I think that this is already out, or at the very least, I know that they've publicly announced it. But they've changed the level up animations won't take your turn timer anymore.
In tournaments. Yeah.
Right.
Thank God.
So you don't really get to take anyone hostage or get taken hostage by those. So
you could always just concede. If you don't want to see my champions level up 13 times, just concede.
wait, can
Give
you
up.
actually turn off the animations in options? Is that a real thing?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think
Because
so.
then one player who has them on is just sitting there.
It's just waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't.
Like,
Yeah,
even if you turn them off, you literally just have to sit there for the runtime with nothing happening on your screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think so. Oh, it's for menu animations. Yeah, that's what they mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, podcast. I'm reading chats. I'm reading 2 chats
okay.
actually. Okay, and then good ideas for getting the most out of Lissandra's tough nexus, or how to go against it when she's leveled. Saucy, any thoughts on playing with or against it?
Yeah, so you're not like trying to build a deck around having a tough nexus. That's just keeping you alive. It's just a control tool. So like people, the big complaint everyone's giving is Lissandra's so slow. Like, yes, she's supposed to be a very slow, grindy control champion. Like that's what she's trying to do. That just also brings along a win con at some point. So the whole point of the tough nexus is to survive longer. Like it's just a long drawn out slow champion. She is not hard to counter. It's not a static ability. If she's gone, the ability goes away. So if you're worried about that, kill her.
Just kill her, forehead.
And if you're playing a hyper aggro deck, you probably, the tough nexus isn't deciding that game. Like you either killed them or they were able to get you out of resources. That's standard.
Yeah, you either control them or they got turn 11 and they're winning anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the same thing about when everyone's like, "Oh, Teemo's not playable because of tough nexus." Like in the Teemo decks, the game's decided a long time before that, or you could just kill her. Like it's, yeah.
And not everyone's running Lissandra. It's not like every deck you run into is gonna have a tough nexus.
Right.
It doesn't happen often. Like they also have to level her up. It's not a level 1 ability.
Yeah.
They do need to get the champion leveled up.
Yeah.
You have to commit things to it.
Yeah, but Hush exists, so abilities on cards are useless, though. Don't you know?
Oh
that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the exact same thing. Oh, Vengeance exists. Units are bad.
True though. True. And Deny
Avalanche exists in the game, so anything with 2 or less health you can't play.
Literally unplayable.
True.
Yep.
And that new Super Deny came out, so you can't play
I love that card, by the way.
Spells, skills, or
I play at least one in every stream deck.
I got crushed by one. I got absolutely dumpstered by it because I was not expecting it. I forgot that Shreema has Deny.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I've been running it in a lot of decks, even as a 1-of, because people like it, especially when they don't expect it. Like in Lucian Azir, that card's an all-star.
You're gonna get stuff with the game every time. Where it's like, okay, you have to cast like Withering Wail or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you counter it, and it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had someone do a sequence. It was in a mirror match, and he had a sequence of like 2 single combats and something else, and I was like, boop!
Yeah.
That's so good. It's so good.
Seems pretty good. Okay, so we got another question here from the Jive Man. Best guess on what type of deck will conquer the meta, aggro, mid-range, control, combo, etc. Majiin, any thoughts on what maybe not the deck specifically, but what genre or playstyle will be rampant in the meta?
I'm gonna go with mid-rangey aggro. Like not like discard aggro, but like close. Probably with Renekton.
Okay.
If you're looking for something that's like not Fizz TF, that's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a Renekton-based aggro deck is my guess.
Okay. I like it. Saucy, any thoughts on what you think is going to dominate?
Aggro seems strong. I'd say aggro and mid-range. Really, really strong. I think that there will be a very low percentage of people that will do all right with heavy control decks, but I think not a lot of people want to put in the time to learn those decks and get good at them because just get punished really hard. And I feel like those will be okay if we get really fast, but I think aggro mid-range, I agree. Renekton is just good, and realistically, you're just going to see a lot of Fizz TF and Aphelios TF.
I was going to make a joke about how I thought Elusives were going to be the best deck, and it was just going to be Fizz TF was the punchline.
Still Fizz TF.
Was the punchline of the joke.
New Elusives list that I'm running.
Yeah, it's my new Elusive.
3 verbal Fizz.
Yeah.
Something you've never heard of.
Oh,
No,
it has
Burblefish.
6 Burblefish because it has
Yes, it
iterative
does.
improvements.
One sec, guys. My dogs are freaking out. I gotta go. Check the
No,
door real quick.
no problem. The pup has spoken. The pup has spoken.
Majiin, open the door. I'm Cosmo. This is what I sound like. It's Cosmo.
Okay, that was awful.
Oh God,
That was terrifying.
That was the worst Cosmo I've ever heard.
I'm not really Cosmo. I'm Demon Cosmo.
Going off the rails.
What did I come back to?
Nothing. Your hair looks nice. Anyways, back to the questions here. Okay, this is another Lysandra question. Will Spectral Matron finally have a home in the Lysandra deck since she can copy the Watcher? Saucy, I feel like this is a saucy brew if I've ever heard one.
Nah, it's just unnecessary. Like, it's super redundant, and you don't need it. If you're playing a deck that wants to get the Watcher out, it's not hard to make it cost 0. You just have to summon more things.
Yeah.
Like, doing this extra shit to try and do it just makes the deck worse. You just water it down.
Yeah.
You have to deal with Spectral Matron in your hand the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bad card.
Yep.
Yeah. Spectral Matron is great, except for the fact that you have to play it.
Yeah.
I like the Revitalizing Roar, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roar's solid.
That's good tech.
And it's also
You
just
just
a
gain-
good card.
Yeah.
That card just, like, doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Do you play the Ledroses? Ledri? In
The
your
Ledreses.
Lysandra version?
I haven't. So there's a couple different versions. I actually like the Shurima version a lot. You get to play the Preservariums, which is good, and the 7 mana burst speed Avalanche is really
Spirit
strong.
Fire?
That card
Card
is
does not
insane.
suck. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah. That's one that I've been surprised with how
Yeah.
good it's been. People don't play around it at all. It's burst speed, it stops combat, and then wipes the board afterward.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
That one seems pretty good. That was one that kind of came out of nowhere that I was not expecting. That
It's real good.
seems
And you get a
really
front
good.
deny. So
Yeah. Okay, so got one more question here. This one is from Broccoli Violet, and this one I think is specifically for Majiin because it's a tournament-related question. Do you like the tournament format in its what I'm gonna roughly paraphrase here, in its current form? For example, Petish brought triple P&Z deck lineup with 9 Mystic Shots and 9 Ballistic Bots. So I guess the Riot Lock format, as it is colloquially referred to as.
No, but I don't hate it. That's like the short answer. Like, it's not ideal, probably, but they could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
So, and I think if it was a different game, if it was like Magic or something, or Yu-Gi-Oh, or I don't know, don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, but let's pretend.
Yeah.
I think it would be a much bigger problem, but because Riot is so, like, they patch things often, you get buffs and you get nerfs, that if one card is so absurd that my entire lineup is ran around it, it's probably going to get nerfed, and so it shouldn't ever be a problem.
Yeah. And a lot of times that card is a champion, and you can't run those in multiple decks.
Yeah. Like, I'm fine with 3 decks running Mystic Shot. Mystic Shot's like filler. Not filler. It's like glue. It's if you're running P&Z, you're running Mystic Shot. You're not like, oh, I'm going to run P&Z so that I get Mystic Shot, usually. You know what?
Yep.
But it's a good card, and you're running the region, so you're going to play it.
Right.
Now, if it was something like, let's pretend that, I don't know, let's pretend Foundry was absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
Like, let's pretend it had a different effect, and it was just nuts. And so you ran P&Z with all 3 decks that have different types of strategies just because Foundry was so good, then it'd be a problem. But I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, the only thing I can kind of think that is close to that was in the first seasonal, we saw triple Ionia, if I recall correctly, with denies in every deck.
Like Will's, because Will was like 4 mana or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't 4 mana during the seasonal.
Okay.
I'm 90%. I'm actually pretty positive.
Last seasonal? No, it was not
Last
4 mana
seasonal,
for last.
yeah, last seasonal. I'm like,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, for last seasonal, top 32, I ran Callista Wraiths with 3 denies in it. Deny was nuts during that seasonal.
yeah.
Like, those are the only Ionia cards.
Yep.
Just 3 denies in my Wraith deck.
Yeah, and I think I generally agree. I think
Tail Cascade was close.
that's true.
And then it got nerfed, and the problem went away, right?
Right. I do think that there's a fine line between having like generically good cards that you can play across multiple decks, and like, you know, a card that is dominating the format and is in 3 of your decks. I think one of the things that people say, it's like, oh, well, you can run base, like you technically could run, 27 or no, is there 30 or 40 cards? God, I don't even know. You could run all the 3 of the same exact decks, except just have 3 different champions in each deck, and basically run the same exact deck 3 times in the seasonal technically. But doing that isn't actually good right now, at least, right? Like you could run
right now. It could be in the future.
It could be, and I think that's where the issue comes. But I also think that's kind of like it's like a slippery slope fallacy where it's like, oh, well, eventually this could happen. It's like, well, it doesn't have to happen. It could theoretically happen, but it doesn't actually have to happen. And if it did, Riot can change it. So
they can just change it. Perfect. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So final answer, I do not love it. I do not dislike it. I think there's probably better options, but I don't know what it would be. So I'm going to refrain from criticizing it.
Solid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but I like the 2-deck no ban format, but I actually have grown to like bans more, and I've grown to like...
The 2-deck no ban format scares me, man. Especially when it was like Fizz TF. It's just like, okay, well, I just have to try to beat Fizz TF every single match.
Yeah, it was made for a lot of reasons, some of which was tournament administration reasons. And I think we've learned a lot since we came up with that format.
True.
So I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I think Riot Lock is all right, and it's not the best. But also Riot did say, or not Riot, but one of the devs did say on Twitter that they are going to be trying out other formats. So, which
I'm excited about.
Yep.
Singleton. All Singleton.
Except that.
Yeah. How about triple region, not Singleton? Okay, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. We need to go down the rabbit hole of figuring out new formats, because we are just about up with time. Yeah. Majin, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. Really appreciate it.
For having me. Had a good time.
So did I. I know it goes without saying, considering you're the champ, but is there anything you want to sell out, shout out, plug while we've got you here?
I mean, I stream, so check me out on Twitch. My name is MajiinBae, LOR. That's about it. Nothing crazy.
Nice. Saucy, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here on the show?
Yeah, you can just find me on my website, saucy.live. That's my site with all my stuff.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter at @the_Blevins. You can find me on Fridays, twitch.tv/GiantSlayer LOR, casting Fight Night. And you can
be there.
Yes. Yeah. Majin's gonna be there.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, so we try to get the seasonal champ on. We actually have tried to get Push P on. Timing and scheduling hasn't worked out, but we do want him.
Speaking of this seasonal lineup, I mean the Fight Night lineup is very scary.
Yeah,
it's very strong.
It's a strong one. So make sure, if you want to see some high level, not seasonal, because we're not in season, LOR play, twitch.tv/GiantSlayer LOR on Fridays at 6 Eastern. Check that out. If you want to catch the show and everything related to the show, make sure you go to discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. Again, we are, as of this second, live second, running the giveaway for 10 10 Shurima battle passes. So if you want a Shurima battle pass, or I mean, it's PayPal, so you don't have to buy it. And if you've already bought it, don't think that you can't win. But for 10 Shurima battle passes, head over to discord.me/Runeterrable Radio, join the giveaway channel, and hit the bot, and it will automatically enter you there. You can also support us on Patreon if you want. Patreon.com/Runeterrable Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Runeterrable, and we're basically Runeterrable everywhere. DeckPics.Live. Send us your deck picks at DeckPics.Live. We have that. That is the real website. Go there.
Check your spelling.
Just fire it
or
off.
Don't.
Yeah, just fire it off. But yeah, that is gonna be it. Thank you again, Majiin, for being here. But for Majiin, for Saucy, I'm Blevins. We'll be back next week to talk about some more Legends of Runeterra.
Wom, wom, wom.